Hello everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Mythic Plus. Now this week we have Sanguine, which means when an enemy dies, it'll leave behind a pool, and this pool will damage players and heal enemies. Volcanic, which means that erupting volcanoes will occasionally spawn underneath players and they will do a lot of damage. And Fortified, which means that non-boss enemies have more HP and do more damage. Now tanks, this week placement is key. Do not kill any mobs on any pathways that you are going to have to use. Remember, use the corners, use the rest of the area that you are provided, but placement is of the utmost importance this week. You should also be avoiding any volcanoes that are going to be spawning on or near you. And the biggest pulls you should be doing is about 7 to 10 mobs because of that fortified damage. If it's a non-elite mob that does a very low amount of damage, you can go ahead and pull more as long as you continuously move them for the Sanguine that they're going to be dropping. If you have a pull that's close to that 10 mob cap, or just a trash pull that hits really hard, remember to start rotating defensive cooldowns because of Fortified. That damage is going to be multiplied a lot more. One thing you should also be aware of is that even though you're pulling the mobs to a corner, you do need to continuously move them as they start dying because those Sanguine pools will start healing them. So move all of your mobs out of those pools. DPS, AoE and cleave spec this week for sure because the trash is the #1 priority. Pop your DPS cooldowns on big trash packs or on hard-hitting trash so that they go down faster and put less stress on your tanks and healers. Avoid any volcanoes that are going to be spawning underneath you. And a big one is to avoid standing in Sanguine. Now if you took a break from WoW for a little bit, Sanguine did get buffed a few weeks ago, and so standing in it does do a lot of damage now, so try to avoid any ticks of standing in Sanguine. One thing you do need to know, even though you are DPS, is to be careful of when you stun. You could be potentially stunning someone that's going to be stunned on top of a Sanguine puddle and get healed up. So if you're going to use your stuns, use them early while the mobs are above 50% HP so you don't accidentally pull your group in that situation. Also remember, if you have any knockbacks or interrupts, use them to help get these packs out of the pools, and use any defensive cooldowns you have on big AoE and cleave trash because that will be hitting you hard as well. Healers, avoid all volcanoes. They are going to be doing a ton of damage. It is absolutely worth it to stop casting and jump out of a volcano's range rather than finish your cast, because one of these volcanoes under the right circumstances can one-shot you. On AoE and cleave trash packs, prepare to start throwing out AoE heals since everybody will be getting hit, and we have Fortified this week. The damage will be amplified by that much. And if you have any knockbacks or interrupts, try to help out the tanks and get those mobs out of the pools, and you yourself should also avoid the Sanguine pools. Now overall this week it is a 2 out of 10. This is about as easy as affixes get. Both of these affixes are completely avoidable, and since we have Fortified, the boss fights aren't going to be multiplied by that much more, so just be careful with the trash. The biggest thing this week is to mind the mob placement when they do go down so that you don't box yourself in with a bunch of pools of Sanguine. Avoid all the volcanoes, and when you're doing big pulls of trash, rotate your cooldowns on them since trash is going to be hitting that much harder this week. If you have not gotten your plus 15 achievement, this is a very good week to push and get that plus 15. And also, any alts you have, do your plus 10s this week since the difficulty level is lower. Thank you all for watching, and as always, good luck out there.